Extreme ownership, how a couple of Navy SEALs were able to convert their battlefield training and experience into real life boardroom assistance. Hey guys, Jeff Carlson here. Welcome to Coffee with Carlson. Today we're doing a little book review. We're going to check out a book that we finished on vacation called Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. These two guys were part of SEAL teams that went into Ramadi to help clear it, make it safe during the war in the Middle East. They were pretty awesome guys. They took some great lessons. They took those lessons, converted them into the boardroom, and are now running a successful business consulting practice to help teach leaders how to take responsibility for their actions, lead effectively, and be strong and make their team strong. Before we get into that, quick shout outs. Bill Caro up at Stewart's Mobile Village in Avon Park, just south of town on Highway 27. Whether you need an RV supplies, repairs, improvements, appliances, roof, awnings, whatever you need, give Billy a call. He'll hook you up real good. He's a great guy and he'll do whatever he can. Don't forget your strangely warm coffee this morning. I'm actually filming this for the third time today because for some reason my audio got screwed up. You can see I made a few changes around the studio. The audio got screwed up. So I came back from the house. I was getting ready to edit and had to record it again. That's me for paying attention to all the monitors. Now I can see it going up and down. So I know we're getting some audio this time. Hopefully it all comes out good. All right. Hope everybody had a safe July 4th. Took the week off from the show. We spent some time with family over the 4th, some family and friends. We took a week's vacation. Great to celebrate this great country and all the freedoms that we enjoy. And today we're going to be talking about how some of those freedoms are protected by these two excellent warriors that fight for our country on a regular basis. And we're really excited to cover this book. So I'm going to pop it back up. Extreme Ownership. Life lessons from these warriors learned on the battlefield. Some of them learned in training. I'm going to try not to spoil the book for you, but if you love personal development and love books that help you grow, not only as a person, but as a leader, maybe a leader at your church, at work, or for your family, whatever it is, this would be a great book. These guys took some fantastic stories from their real life, real harrowing battlefield experiences, turned them into some great anecdotes, and then tied them back in the book in a great way to the boardroom and how they helped executives find their way and learn from the whether mistakes or personal experiences of these guys on the battlefield. Pretty cool how they did that. I want to take up I want to give you a couple examples. I'm just going to hit them real briefly. The stories are fantastic, so you want to listen to them. We actually listened to these books while we were on a road trip a couple weeks ago. These two warriors read this book. We read one by Patrick Swayze as well. He read it as well. It's fantastic when the authors read because they can inflect and add things that you might not have otherwise read in the book. These guys took turns back and forth reading it. Very good book. I recommend anyone reading it if you can. The first example I wanted to give was on a failed mission. Some things went wrong. This instance, I think everybody came back okay. But at the end of the day, the leaders of these guys led SEAL teams. They all obviously had generals above them to direct the overall strategy. They wanted answers and wanted to hold someone accountable and wanted them to do an after action report, not only for them, but for their team as well, so that they could help improve. So they went through all the reports, went through all their notes, went through their experiences, interviewed all the guys on the ground, and then got together about a week later at a team meeting where everyone was in the same room, everyone's talking about it. And this was Leif Babin who read this. And he came back and asked the guys on the teams, hey, what went wrong? What did we do wrong? Who's responsible? Man after man raising their hand, honorable men that they are, warriors that protect our freedoms. They all raised their hand and said, we could have done this different. We could have done that different. We could have done a couple of things differently while we were there. At the end of the day, after he asked us 5 or 6 times and everybody went around the room, he came back and said, no, you're wrong. It's my fault. I'm the leader. I take responsibility. That's what we call extreme ownership. After he did that, it was time to move forward, review the actual events that occurred, figure out all of those things and the feedback that they got from everyone on the team, and try to improve the next time that they went out. So from a corporate strategy standpoint, the 2 lessons there. One is after you get done looking at a process or an operation that you occurred, take a look back, see how those processes work, let the whole team be involved and take ownership in it so that everyone gets everyone's on board and everyone had some input into the process. The second thing is, as a leader in your company, at your house, church, wherever it is, take ownership for what you did, take responsibility for being that leader, and help the team move forward in a positive way. I think some great life lessons. The second example I wanted to give was training for the SEAL teams at Bud's training out in, I believe, San Diego in California. In this particular instance, the teams were running exercises where there were 6 teams of guys with their rubber inflatable boats, and they had to pick them up on the beach, carry them out into the water, paddle down the beach, I'm not sure how long, get them out of the water and carry them back. One team continually thrived and was winning the competition every time. So after observing this for a little while, one team was always behind. There was infighting amongst the team. No one was listening to the leader. Things would fall. They were just not operating very effectively at all. So these 2 guys decided, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to swap. They pulled the lead team in and the last team in. They said, what we're going to do is swap leaders. So the leader of the winning team is going to now lead the losing team, and the leader of the losing team is now going to lead the winning team. Interesting thing happened, that when the leader from the winning team took over the continually losing team, they immediately jumped to the front of the line, started to act as a cohesive unit, and won time after time after time. But even more interesting was the team that was coming in last before, when the team that was coming in first before, and now they were being led by the leader who was in last place, they were coming in second every time. So interesting concept here, that the leader makes a huge difference in how the team interacts and how the team works together, but also that a team can be trained to work together so well that even if you move out the effective leader with a less effective leader, they can still operate at a high level, maybe in the short term, probably not in the long term, because then they would start to break down and fall apart, and some of those other things would continue to happen. But a really cool story about things falling apart, leadership, and how we can take a losing team and make it a win by just changing the coach. I'm sure a lot of you have seen things like this happen on the sports field, whether in your own experience or just in your fantasy football league or fantasy baseball league. The thing that I've really noticed lately is that the general mindset overall of what I've noticed in society lately, I watch a lot of news outlets. I watch them all to get a diverse perspective. I listen to different ones on the radio while I'm in my car to try and get a different perspective and how other people think than just my own. Keeping it one-sided never helps anyone. But what I found a lot across the board is discussions about how, and this is not just in the news, this is locally as well, watching and observing things, how people aren't taking that extreme ownership of their own lives. And what's happening is society is breaking down to a point where people are actually blaming everyone else for whatever issues they're having. I don't have enough money. It's because I'm not getting paid enough, or I don't get enough hours. I can't get ahead in school because the homework's too hard. I can't get into a good school because it's so hard to get into that school. I can't afford to pay for school because it's so expensive. Whatever it is, I see a lot of this going on in our community, in our society and the community. And it really bothers me because I think it's an overall shift in what's happened over the years. And I hope that people can start saying, if I don't have enough money to buy that car that someone else has, all I need to do is work a little bit harder and maybe I'll be able to get it. I know right now, most of the people I know, including me and my wife, have multiple jobs. We run multiple things at one time, as well as running our families, and always on the lookout for new opportunities and new things we can hop in, not just because we want more money, but because we like to stay busy. We like to be productive, not all the time, but we like to be busy. We like to be productive. So you can find that drive too. And maybe you can find it by reading a great book like this about soldiers that were in the battlefield who brought that experience back to the real world and are now helping out in the real world with companies being efficient and helping train leaders of the future, I hope. And right here locally, you can look out for, and all of our counties have leadership programs, a great opportunity for you to jump in, whether it's Leadership Highlands, Leadership Hardee, or DeSoto. Try to jump in, get involved, do what you can to try and make yourself a better leader, and always continually read. I'm going to continue to try and keep up my book reports, if you will, and give you my 2 cents on different books that we've read and how they help us grow a little bit. But for now, I want to say thank you very much for joining me on Coffee with Carlson. I hope you're having a good morning. Actually, it's not morning anymore. It's 5:15-ish. I hope you're having a great morning. If you need to get in touch with us, you can reach us on the web at carlsonaccounting.com. You can schedule an appointment right there on the webpage or shoot me an email. You can also give us a call at 863-382-4141. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Monday on Coffee with Carlson. Oh, and here's a little tidbit just to try and get you to watch more. Any of my existing business clients that are keeping an eye on this, the first one to shout out to me on Facebook Instant Messenger, one of you to reach out to me, I'm going to give you a 10% discount. Thank you very much.